nothing here for me. And, don't hear much good news when you're out there in the world, but I'm thankful when we come down to the house of God, it's still some good news.
Yeah.
And it's not, everybody ain't give up. Everybody ain't sold out and said it's no use to go. It's still a few on the way.
That's
And, the number here tonight, we're very small considered to what's out there in the world. But I'm glad I'm not going alone tonight.
Amen.
I'm glad it'll be more there than just what's right here. And it's gonna be a big number when we get there. And a lot of people think that we're the minority.
That's right.
But anytime you got the Lord on your side, you're the majority.
Yes.
And this thing ain't over with. God ain't lost no power. And I talked last night whenever Robbie's preaching so good, that glory come down here in the midst. And that is an old time meeting. And back 50 years ago, 60 years ago, it wasn't no better than that. It was about as good as it gets.
Amen.
And we talk about how it used to be, what they used to have. We can have the same thing.
That's
We
right.
can have the same thing. And if we desire it, it'll be here. And if we want something different, we can have something different. And I'm thankful for this old time way.
Yeah,
I
me
see
too.
nothing wrong with it. We may read here tonight and look at Haggai, the 2nd chapter. Very familiar verses. And we won't be before you long. And man don't have to preach all night to preach. And we just need to get in here and have a meeting. 2nd chapter of Haggai. Start with verse 1. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, Speak now into Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house with first glory? And how do you see it now? Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing? Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith the Lord. Be strong, O Joshua, and son of Josedek, the high priest, and be strong, all the people of the land, saith the Lord, and work. For I am with you, saith the Lord of hosts, according to the word that I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt. So my spirit remaineth among you, fear ye not. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yet once, it is a little while, and I will shake the heaven, and the earth, and the sea, and the dry land. And I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house with glory, saith the Lord of hosts. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, saith the Lord of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith the Lord of hosts. And this place will I give peace, saith the Lord of hosts. And that's all we feel like reading tonight.
Yeah.
And if the Lord would be our helper, we might just be before you very brief and say just a few words. But again, maybe just come to our minds today and begin to think about this. And maybe this year was wrote whenever they was in maybe down there in the army and then down there in Babylon for 70 years. And they come up out of there and they begin to work on something. And they begin to have something to look forward to. And a lot of them that was working on that had never seen what that house used to be like. And I couldn't stand here tonight and tell you what it was like back under the law. I couldn't stand here and tell you what kind of life that they had as a prophet. And how that they maybe went out there and they prophesied all this to come. And just what I read here in this book is all that I've got. And that's all I've got to go on. But I begin to think about another house. A house that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
And this house here that they built, it was probably great in its day. But it come a time that house vanished and it was no more. And it was nothing else left there to go back to. And whether they seen the house in its glory or no matter how they seen it that day, you can never go back and see that house that was built then. But here was the man that was prophesying about a greater house that was a coming. And if this here was all that we'd ever got, we would all be in trouble tonight. But I'm glad that there is another house. And maybe Paul began to speak about it in the book of Corinthians. And he began to talk about this earthly house and this tabernacle, that if it be dissolved, that we have another house that's built eternal unto God and into heaven. And that's the house tonight that we need to be taken care of. And that's the one that we need to be keeping clean. And you women that's in here, you all pretty well know what it's like to try to keep a house clean. And I'm the worst housekeeper that you ever seen in your life. And anytime you come to my house, you won't have to wear white gloves to find dust. You won't have to see something to pick up. But maybe tonight I'd just like to talk about on that clean house. And I'm talking about this natural side of this thing. You women can clean and you can work for hours and think you've got everything cleaned up and the house is spotless. And then the sun will shine through the window and you can see that dust as it begins to rise in that sunlight. But I'm talking about a house tonight, Steve, that we can all keep clean. And people says, how do you do it? I tell you how I do it, Earl. I go down to the housekeeper and brother, I can't keep this clean by myself. I must get a housekeeper. And I have to have somebody to help me. And brother, I had some good help last night. Old Robbie was sweeping the floors. Old Zach was here the other day. And he was cleaning out the lab and cleaning house. And brother, that house there, I've seen it in its glory. And that house that I read about, I've never seen it in its glory. But brother, it's no excuse today that we can't have old time meeting. These men here, when they begin to build, they had a blueprint to go by and they worked together. You can't get men today that'll work together. Everybody, they've got their own blueprint. They're doing it their way, and nobody else's way can work but their own. This house that I'm preaching about tonight, we can keep it clean. We can keep it spotless. People say, why do you want to keep it clean? Brother, it's going to be a man come through one day and he's going to check it. He's going to look and see what's in that house and what's possessed in there. And every one of us, we've got them things that we hold dear to us, and we'll put them up on the shelf. And everybody that comes in, we want them to look at it. And I heard somebody talking the other day, and it may have been somebody here talking about that their loved one had died, and they had a house full of stuff, and that loved one thought that stuff was great, and he had a lot of value to it. But when she passed away, they couldn't even give it away. And we keep a lot of stuff. It may be dear to me, but my son is here, and probably when I'm gone, he'll back the truck up and load it up for trade. But I'm glad tonight I've got something in my house that my son holds dear. I've got something in my house that my grandchildren will hold dear to them. and a great inheritance here. He's been here. They just couldn't see that house in its first glory. And he said, how do you see it now? Brother, I'm here tonight to tell you, I see my son. He's got some glory to him. I thought a while ago, and Zach was telling me about his little boy. I said a few years back, I was sitting right back there telling it. I said, you see them two men right up there? I said a few years back, they was out one night a drinking, and they rolled side to side, and they turned that over, and it landed on his arm, and about cut his arm off, and then when the ambulance got there, they said we won't make it, he'll bleed out. He tied his shirt around his arm, and they flew him out in a helicopter. I got to the hospital, he was still drunk, you couldn't hardly talk to him, it wasn't no glory there, but brother, something come by, and it came down. That's right. And you can see that glory. It's greater now, and it was that night. And he's not the only one. It's plenty of us in here, and we've been out there, and we thought, brother, we are doing it. We've got it made. We're living it up. That brother, it don't take long. If somebody's a praying, God will get their attention. It's people I've got that's lost. I'm praying for them. I don't want anything bad to happen. That brother, I hope the Lord goes down there and visits their house and looks in there and looks down through the aisles of that house and say, I believe I can furnish this and it'll look a little better. And I'm here today to tell you, it ain't all gone. Everybody ain't sold out. Everybody ain't quit. It's still a few out there that's looking for something. Maybe like Doug sung about. It ain't gonna always be like it is now. But it's coming a day. I'm moving from here and I'm leaving this behind. That's right. Oh, somebody the other day. Heavy all the destruction that's done down down over a mountain into North Carolina. I thought they'll build back. They'll forget about this in a few years. As it had never happened. They'll get their life started. It'll be another generation come up. They'll hear the old ones talk about it. They'll say we don't know nothing about it. We wasn't there then. But brother, they'll sit back and they'll tell how bad it was. We can sit back tonight. These older ones can sit back. Earl, you can tell me about them old-time meetings. I can rejoice because you had them. Steve, I remember you, Daddy, and I remember you, uncles. You can tell me about them and what they had back then. And I'm happy for that, and it's good to have that. And brother, we're going to move over to the other side here. And we've got some young men right here. And I've got news for you, men. You can have the same thing. People says, how do you do it? Just keep that house clean. Them old timers, they had a few good meetings. They had a few big revivals. And brother, we can do the same thing. That devil will tell you. Nobody's interested. Just look around here tonight. These people people didn't come for nothing. These people care. They love the gospel. They want the gospel. Or they wouldn't be here. Brother, if you had some big name preacher out there, we've got a Townsend that comes to this country. I believe they call him C.T. Townsend. He's got a tent so big he can't get all the people under it. And he's got a crowd of following him. I don't know nothing about that house. And I don't want to learn about it. Whether he's leading people out there in the way where he can get their billboards. Most preachers today, they want you billboards. But you know what the old men of God wanted? They wanted that hard. They wanted that hard. And when they get in that part of the house, they'll clean it up. They say we come down here. We got a lot of people going down there on cleanup, and a lot of them ain't taking nothing with them. They're just taking themselves. Brother, if you're going to clean up, you need a rake. You need a shovel. You need something to work with. Brother, if you come down to the house of God, bring something to work with. We've got too many today that's standing back just to watch it. See what everybody else is doing. We've got a lot of them down yonder, I'd say. If when the roads opens up, they're just there to drive by. They'll come back and they'll say, oh, it's bad down there. It's tore them people's houses down. It's washed it away. It's bad down there. You've got them that goes down to the house of God. They can tell you everything that's wrong down there. They can tell you how to fix everything that's wrong. We need to do this. We need to do that. You can step back out of the way and say, help yourself. They say, oh, I don't want to get in the way. If you don't want to get in the way, don't say nothing about it. If you ain't going to help none, just leave them workers alone and let them work. Don't be down there blocking the road and hindering somebody else. Ain't that what the Bible says? They hinder them that would come in. And I'm today to tell you, we're here to clean house. And I'm not talking about running anybody off. But I'm talking about getting this on the inside. Just get it clean. And brother, you get it clean. When that sun shines in, you won't see no dirt. You won't see no dust. But brother, it'll be a clean house. I remember when I lived at home, I don't know how Mommy done it. It was about 9 or 10 of us lived there. In a little old house, a little 3-room house, 12 by 12 rooms. People said you have your own bedroom. I didn't even have my own bed back in. It was 2 or 3 of us that sleep in the same bed. Maybe 3 or 4 beds in the same room. People said that the boys and the girls sleep in the same room. Yes, sir, that's the only place we had to stay. Back then, people, they taught their young'uns to act like young'uns. They taught them to act like decent human beings. We live to a day today. Boys and girls can't even be together anymore. Brother, they've got to a place to where you have to separate them. Brother, if they get down to the house of God and get their house cleaned up, and Mom and Daddy get the house cleaned up, you won't have to worry about that stuff. That brother, we lived in a little old house. Brother, it was about 9 or 10 of us lived in at the same time. Me and Roy and another brother, we we all three slept in the same bed. That's the only place we had to sleep. People said, well, I'd be embarrassed to tell it. I'm just thankful I had a roof over my head. I was thankful I had love in the house. I was thankful it was somebody that cared about me. And we never sat down at the table once, but what, it wasn't a meal spread there. And we never went in. We didn't have the best clothes. Most of the time we had hand-me-downs. But praise God today, they was clean and they was washed. I thank the Lord tonight. Them old-timers, they left me some hand-me-downs. They handed this gospel down through the generations. And brother, you know what tonight? This gospel's been through the wars, and it's been cleaned up. And brother, when you get in this house, it ain't nothing dirty in it. They didn't have automatic washer and a dryer. They had 2-wringer washers. They had a bunch of people who carried the wash water. They didn't have a dryer. They plugged in the wall and punched a button. They had a clothesline out there. I'm not saying to go back to that. I don't want to go back to that. But what I'm saying, they didn't have the things we've got today, and they kept a clean house. They kept the clothes clean. They kept everything in order. Now we've got all the time in the world. We don't even have to cut a stick of firewood if we don't want to. We just go in, we turn the thermostat up. If it gets too hot, we'll turn it down. Or if it's in the summertime, we get too warm, we'll just cool it off a little bit. Rather, whenever with the house I was raised up in, rather you didn't have no central air. You was lucky to have a window fan. And right in the back then, they tell you, it won't hurt you to sweat a little bit. Rather, we've got so comfortable now at the house of God. If the preacher starts sweating, it scares them to death. While most preachers, if they get to sweating, it would scare them to death. But rather, they kept a clean house, even though they didn't have much. And everything that we had, most of what we had, we raised it. If we eat it, we'd put out a big garden. People today, they'd say, oh, I'd like to have me a hobby. I'd raise me a few things. Brother, back then, it wasn't a hobby. It was a way of life. Ain't people just about, they turned church into a hobby. They turned worship into a hobby. Back then, it was a way of life. And we need to get back to that. And say, this is what we gotta have if we're gonna make it. Whether we put out a garden, it wouldn't be a half acre, it'd be like 2 acres. We'd plant 2 or 300 pounds of taters. Whether we had a family to feed, probably we've got a family to feed. We've got to feed these people. When we come down here, Zach, bring a sack of taters with you if you're gonna feed a bunch of people. But if you're just gonna feed a few, you can bring a can of potted meat. But brother, I'm here tonight to tell you, it's a bunch of people that's hungry for the gospel. Amen. And they're down at the house. And they're waiting on a building. We'd go out there, bigger boys, they'd start hoeing. We'd line up through that garden. Each one of us would get a robe. We'd take off out through yonder. That was maybe the slowest. He'd get up yonder and he wouldn't get all the weeds down the other one's back. But whenever them got to the other end, they didn't sit down in the shade. You know what they done? They turned right around and went back and helped him. You didn't work till you got hard, but you worked till you got done. They go down to the church house anymore. People's just there till they get tired a little bit, and then they're going to float on into heaven. Brother, we ain't done yet. We ain't finished this thing yet. We're going to have to make it home, right? And these people here, why it's a lot of people out there tonight. It's churches without pastors. It's people out there that's got nobody to preach to them, and somebody needs to go there and take them a meal. Amen. That's right. That's what put glory in our house that we was being raised up. We had everything that we need. I remember when it was kind of a special thing if you got a soft drink. Now they're sitting all over the house everywhere you go. You got something that's store-bought, it was something special. About all they ever bought at the store was flour and meal, and coffee and things that they couldn't raise. People says, where'd you get the We went out to the dairy and got them. They came, and maybe I thought as Doug was preaching so good here that Sunday, preaching about that virtuous woman that wasn't afraid of the snow. You know why she wasn't afraid of the snow? She put up the food what time the sun was a-shining and the temperatures was warm. And then when the snow began to fly, she said, we've got it in a can and it's ready to be put on the table when that time comes. And you just think about it. It don't matter where you're at. If you're hungry, you're wanting something to eat. If you're cold, you're wanting warm. If you don't have clothes, you're wanting clothes. And what did the Lord tell us? If we got food and raiment, be there content. Why is it everybody wants everything special? We've got to have hardwood floors. We've got to have some kind of special type of windows. We've got to have a special type of siding. We've got to have everything that the neighbors got, and we compete with them. I'm talking about the natural house we live in, and we just about got it down to church house. They're having a bake sale to raise money. Let's have us a bake sale. Won't you just preach to you people, take care of the church, and lay it out there the way it's supposed to be, and you won't have to have a quilt lead, you won't have to have a bake sale, you won't have to play bingo, but the people of God will bring in what you need and bring into the storehouse, and you won't be without. We can have glory in the house of God. We can have old time meetings again. We'll shout tomorrow night. I'm feeling pretty good today. We'll shout again tomorrow night. But we've got a house, and we need to keep that house.
God bless you.
Where the Lord can come out. A lot of people, they've got stuff in their house. They know the person's coming. Remember used to? Back years ago, you men probably referenced to this, and y'all probably heard about the same thing. The preacher started down to their house, and they had a TV. That one preacher, he had a TV, and when doesn't come to visit, he get his own TV from the preachers in the And they're pushing everything back in the corner. People says, well, if the preachers are coming, and people lives right, we need to get rid of this. We don't want to see that. We'll put him back out in the back room. They won't go back there. Well, the conversation might come up that something's back there in the back room and they won't look at it. What are you going to do then? Tell them to come back tomorrow? We can be put on the spot. You know what we need to do? We need to just clean the house out. You can come to my house. I live in a little old cabin back here on that mountain. I ain't got much no way. I ain't no rich man. I ain't never planned on being a rich man. If I had riches, it would wreck my salvation. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And that's the reason why a lot of people, they ain't rich, but they like to live that rich lifestyle.
They do, that's right. They
can't afford a new car, but they got credit and they go get it.
That's right.
They can't afford fine clothes, they've got credit, they go get it.
Amen.
Then after a little while, they sit down and they look at the bills when they start coming in. And when the bill starts coming in, the bills is bigger than the paycheck, and they don't know what to do. You go down to the house of God, they pile sin in there, they keep bringing it in, they bring the dead in, and they bring it in, and you ain't got nothing to pay.
That's right.
That's right.
People got more sin than they've got God. And then they got to the place to where their house is cluttered, and they don't know what to do. I tell you what we need to start throwing stuff out. Like I told you, I'm just about a hoarder when it comes to junk. I'll pile up junk I don't need. I'll see that, I'll say, well, I'll use that somewhere along the way. I'll throw it over in the corner. 6 months later, it's still laying in the corner. And I think, what in the world did I bring that in here for? I should have known then that I wasn't going to use it. That's about the way it is down at the house of God with a lot of people. They've got stuff, they lay it back in the corner. We're going to use this someday. We're going to use this. Time goes on and time goes on, and it never is used. What we need to do, even if it's down at the house, if you've got something laying around there, you ain't used it in 6 months, you'll just take it to the dump and get rid of it. It's something else. It's less that will be there to collect dust. And it's the same way down at the house of God. got all this stuff we brought in. We use it until the Lord starts blessing. And then when the Lord starts blessing and the glory starts coming into the house, we ain't got no use for a lot of that stuff. Really and truly, when the Lord starts blessing, people gets to shouting, people gets to rejoicing in the Lord. What do we use? We're just that living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God. We don't worry about our songbook. We don't worry about our guitar. We don't worry about our piano. When the Lord comes through, we just rejoice in that glory. And it's good to have singers. It's good to have songbooks. It's good to have piano players, guitar pickers, and all that. It's good to have it. But what I'm saying, a lot of times we get to a place to where we depend on that.
That's
We can't have service. We don't have a piano player. It's right there, something I never could understand. They have every high school that it is, they have a band. They teach people to play instruments, blow horns, beat on drums. But I've never heard tell of one that give piano lessons. Now you tell me that the devil ain't in that place.
That's right.
The devil knows what he's to do. Brother, we need to raise them up and teach them how to clean house. You mothers need to be examples to your children. These older women need to be examples to the younger women. Teach them how to keep a clean house. You couldn't teach me how to clean house because I can get to the table and I can get to the bed. I'm fine with that. And it don't bother me because that's just how I am. And whenever I cook, I'm clean with my cooking. I wash everything I cook with. Now I'm not nasty, but I don't keep a clean house. And when you come to my house, it'll be dirt on the floor. And it'll be stuff everywhere. But whenever it comes down to the house of God, and this house right here, I try to keep it clean.
Amen.
But I can't keep it clean by myself. A lot of people try to. They say, we'll just keep it clean. We can live just as good at home as we do down at the house of God. Don't you hear that all the time? We can keep it clean with Facebook. We'll listen to a Facebook preacher. There'll be a Facebook housekeeper that don't never come to your house and see how that works for you. It ain't gonna be long until everything's piled up and everything's filthy. And you'll say, well, that just didn't work. Now Facebook's good if it's used for the right thing. The internet's good if it's used for a tool, it's good. But when you start using it for a toy, it becomes bad. And that's what a lot of people's turned it into, is something that entertains them and something they can play with. And that's become something that's killed them. But you use Facebook for a tool, you can use the internet for a tool, you can use it for the preaching and worshiping the Lord, and it's a lot of people that can't get out. But I'm talking about these people that's able-bodied. They can go to every Friday night football game. They can go to Walmart, every chance they get. They can get in the vehicle. They can ride from here to Florida, and it don't bother them a bit. But they can't sit down at the house of God for an hour and a half. They need to get them a real house.
That's right.
They need to get this house to where the glory of God can move in it and just stir around.
That's right.
Everybody's welcome to my house. They can just look at it. My natural house is the way it is. Now, I'll fix you something to eat. I'll fix you a meal if you can. But this house that's in here, that the Lord gave me, that's built eternal into heaven, it's a house right there that's spotless. It's clean.
Amen.
We can't see it with the natural eye, but it's something in that dug that it's fully furnished. It's got everything in it that it needs. That little house that we was raised up in.
Yeah, bless
Back
you,
down on
Joe.
that mountain, up down on what they call the old Pruitt place. Well, we didn't even have a well. We got water in the summertime when the spring went dry. We had to carry it from the branch. And people said, well, I don't see how you made it. If you'd have been back there, you would. If you'd have seen this house in its first glory, the way them old timers used to preach, and the way them old timers used to have me, you would stand back and you'd say, well, I just don't see how they done that. They depended on the Lord. And I'm afraid, I'm coming to a close right now, and I'm afraid that this country that we're living in, we're going right back down that road. If we get anything, we're going to depend on the Lord to get it.
That's right.
People says, I've got plenty of money, I can buy it. If it ain't for sale, you won't buy it. You can't buy a bushel of taters if it ain't none on the market.
That's
You
right.
can't go down here and buy a side of bacon if it ain't one on the market.
That's right.
And it's a little more like it every day.
Yeah.
That if you eat, you're gonna raise it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have something to furnish your house with, you're gonna raise it.
That's right.
People say, how will you do it? A lot of people will just give up and kill themselves before they'll do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
same way down at the house of God. Some of them used to run away, but then they said, it ain't worth it. I ain't gonna work like that. They go right back
That's
out
right.
there into the
Amen.
nightclub. Go right back out into the clubs, and they just kill that they have.
God,
They said, we don't want this.
That's
no more."
right.
But I believe I'll just stay down here with this
Yeah.
little measly crowd that the world despises. And a lot
Yeah.
of them, maybe the once the woman's run for president, seen a little clip there of what she said about Jesus Christ. And Jesus was the king, is what they told her. She said, y'all come to the wrong debate. Y'all need to be down there with that little crowd,
Yeah.
down the road down there. You know what, Earl? I'm glad I'm down here with this little crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can talk about it, she can run it down all she wants to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
standing on the foundation.
Yeah.
The house that I'm in is built on a firm foundation.
That's right.
And
Amen.
even though, like I said, my house is messy and it's dirty, but my house ain't near as dirty as what that woman's was.
That's right.
You know what she needs? She needs a good dose of salvation.
That's right.
She needs to get down yonder and find her a house cleaner. And it ain't but one that can clean her up.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Clean me up, cleans you up. Has he changed, didn't he? He ain't changed nowhere along the way.
That's right.
Didn't see that house back there, his first story. Didn't see it when they were building, and they come back up out of Babylon. Didn't see that house.
That's right.
But this house that the Lord built, I seen that house.
Yeah.
And I'm dwelling in it. I'm glad I'm saved. I hope you got something out of it. I
Yeah.
know it ain't much, but I believe we just need to preach what we know. Preach what we know about. And we hear a lot of these big name preachers. They're preaching what somebody else preached that wrote down. I'd rather just preach what the Lord gives me.
Yeah.
And if it's
Amen.
5 minutes, it's good. If it's an hour, it's good.
That's right.
I'm happy with it.
That's right.
I'm glad I'm saved.
Yeah.
Ain't you glad you saved?
Yeah. Amen.
Anybody feel like praying? I ain't gonna make a big long altar call. Anybody feel like praying tonight? Anybody feel like getting your house cleaned up?